Hey everyone, it's good to see you again. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to talk about something that drives so many families crazy, and I mean really crazy. It's the kind of problem that keeps older folks up at night, and lately I'm seeing it in more and more people in their 30s and 40s too. You know what I'm talking about? That deep aching, bone crushing pain that shows up before the rain even starts. Have you ever felt like this? The clouds get a little thicker, the wind shifts, and before the weatherman even opens his mouth, your knees, your elbows, your lower back, even your shins, they already know. They're more sensitive than any radar system out there. I have patients come into my office, grab my hand, and describe it exactly like this. Doc, this isn't regular pain. If someone punched me, that's just bruising. I can handle that. But this feels like someone is taking an ice cold chisel and hammering it right into my marrow, or like 1,000 ants, not on my skin, but inside my bones. Chewing away, aching, numb, swollen, throbbing all at once. You can't sit still. You can't get comfortable. It's exhausting. And mornings, oh, mornings are the worst. You try to roll over and your lower back is so stiff it feels like a piece of old warped plywood. It just won't budge. You have to lie there for what feels like forever, tapping here, rubbing there, slowly, gently, until things start to loosen up. And only then can you even think about putting your feet on the floor. And even then, you're holding onto the wall, gripping the nightstand bent over. Like, what's the image? Like a crab that just crawled out of the ocean. Awkward, crooked, shuffling, one step at a time. A lot of people get really scared at that point. They start thinking, is this it? Am I going to end up in a wheelchair? Am I going to be a burden on my kids? So they go to the big hospital, wait hours to see a specialist, get x-rays, maybe an MRI. The doctor holds up those black and white images, points to the white spots and says, see this? Bone spurs, and here cartilage wear and tear, joint space narrowing, it's degeneration. And then comes the word nobody wants to hear. Irreversible, you're getting older. They say your parts are wearing out. It's like a car with 200,000 miles. The tires are bald, and then what the standard Western medical playbook kicks in. Step one, pain relievers, ibuprofen, naproxen, sometimes stronger prescription stuff. And sure, the pain goes away for a little while, but think about what's really happening. Your nerve endings are screaming, hey, something is wrong in here. And we're just cutting the wire to the alarm system, pretending everything's fine while the real problem keeps getting worse. Meanwhile, your stomach is taking a beating, ulcers, bleeding, gastritis, I've seen it all. Step two, corticosteroid shots, hyaluronic acid injections. Basically squirting artificial lubricant into the joint, and when that stops working, the surgeon sharpens the scalpel and says, time for a new one, metal knee, ceramic hip, one and done. Now, hold on, let's stop right there and think, is that really the only answer? Because if wear and tear is just a fact of life, then why do some 80-year-olds still do Tai Chi on the mountaintop? Swim laps at the community pool, move like they're decades younger, while others are in wheelchairs at 50. Same number of years on this planet, same basic human machinery. Why such different outcomes? This is exactly where the big picture view, the one that looks at your whole body, not just the joint, can offer a totally different answer. Let me give you an analogy. Imagine your front door hinge. If it gets rusty and starts squeaking, do you rip the whole hinge out and replace it, or do you stop and ask, is this door installed under a leaky eave? Is it sitting in a damp corner? Did I forget to oil it? Your joints are that hinge, your body is the environment around it, and your circulation, your internal fluids, that's the oil. If your body is cold and damp inside, like keeping that hinge in a puddle of water, you could replace it 10 times with the most expensive stainless steel hinge money can buy, and it'll still seize up because nothing has changed in the environment. So today, I'm going to teach you a method, something you can do right in your own kitchen using ingredients you can find at any grocery store or local market. No harsh medications that stress your liver and kidneys, no surgery, just a slow, nourishing, bone-warming broth rooted in centuries of practical experience adapted for the way our bodies actually work, especially if you live in a damp, humid climate. This broth can help pull that deep cold out of your joints and turn that walk-in freezer feeling into a warm, cozy fireplace. Honestly, it's more effective than wearing 10 layers of knee sleeves or slapping on 200 medicated patches. But before I give you the actual recipe, I want to tell you a real story, so you understand why this works and that I'm not just giving you fluff. A couple of years ago, a 65-year-old woman came to see me. She lived in a very rainy, humid area, you know, the type 300 days of rain a year. Air so wet, it feels like you're breathing through a sponge while sweating with moisture. This woman had worked hard her whole life. She raised kids, worked in the fields, helped with fishing on the coast, always outdoors, always in the damp, always in the cold. Every ounce of that hardship was stored in her bones, and the cold had seeped in with every ocean breeze and muddy step. She came into my clinic supported by her son and daughter-in-law, and honestly, supported is generous. They were practically carrying her. Her legs were swollen like elephant limbs, skin stretched tight and shiny, and if you pressed a finger into her shin, it left a dent that took forever to refill. That's not fat, that's backed up fluid, stagnant water that isn't moving. She looked at me with tears in her eyes and said, "Doctor, I've thought about just giving up. When winter comes, the cold in my legs comes from inside, like it's radiating outward. 3 quilts can't warm me up. Every time the weather changes, my knees feel like they're filled with wet cement, so heavy I can't lift them. The hospital drains the fluid, this yellow murky stuff, and it feels better for 2 days, and then it's back again like a broken faucet I can't turn off." The orthopedic surgeon told her, "Ma'am, this is severe degenerative arthritis. There's nothing left to do except replace the joint." She didn't want surgery. She was afraid of the operating table, afraid of having metal inside her body, so she came to me. I reached out and felt her hands, ice cold, not just chilly, bone cold. The kind of cold that feels wrong. Then I asked to see her tongue. The coating was thick, white, like a layer of frost, pasty like glue. That's not normal. That's the kind of picture we see when cold and damp have penetrated deep into the system, and when the body's internal furnace has practically gone out. I told her, "Ma'am, your knees aren't broken. Your boiler has just stopped firing. Think of your body as a room full of water, but because there's no heat, that water has turned to ice and frozen solid on the floor. Your joints are that floor. We don't need to rip up the floorboards. We need to fix the heater. When warmth comes back, ice melts to water, water turns to steam, and everything drains away." I didn't prescribe expensive, exotic medications. I told her to go home and make the exact soup I'm about to share with you today. Her son was skeptical. I could see it on his face. "Doctor, you're telling me a soup can fix this?" I said, "Just try it. Trust me for 2 weeks. Some things don't show up on a microscope," and guess what? 2 weeks later, she walked back into my office. Not fast, but on her own 2 feet, no help needed. The swelling had gone down more than half. Her complexion, which had been pale and gray, had a warm, rosy glow. She grabbed my hands and said, "Doctor, I feel heat rising in my knees. It's like the pain is literally melting away." That's the power of this approach, understanding the why, not just the what. Now, let's get into the science behind it, the traditional framework that explains exactly why this works. First, we have to throw out those scary mechanical sounding words for a minute. Bone spurs, meniscus tears, joint space narrowing, just forget them for a moment. Let's zoom out and look at your body the way nature does, as a whole system connected to the seasons, to the weather, to the world around you. Here's the first principle: your deep core energy, what traditional medicine calls your kidney energy, is like the root system of a tree. It's your body's battery, it's your reserve tank. In winter, nature pulls everything inward. Trees drop their leaves to protect their roots, rivers freeze on top, but underneath the water still flows. And if you've ever drawn water from a deep well in winter, you know it actually comes up warm. Why? Because the warmth has retreated deep underground. Your body does the same thing in cold weather or in the winter season of life. Your surface warmth should sink down into your core, protecting your deepest organs. That's how you stay healthy. But what if your warehouse is leaking? What if you've been burning the candle at both ends? Too much work, too little sleep, chronic stress, your core energy gets depleted. And what is that core energy in plain terms? Think of it as your body's power plant, the furnace that drives your metabolism, your circulation, your ability to transform food and water into usable fuel. If that furnace is weak, it can't generate enough heat to turn the water in your body into vapor instead of warm, nourishing steam, which should flow through your tissues and lubricate your joints. You get cold, stagnant fluid. That's what we call dampness. And when that dampness pools in your joints, you get swelling, stiffness, and pain. Second principle: cold makes things contract. It's basic physics. Heat expands, cold shrinks. When you're exposed to cold, your blood vessels constrict, your muscles tighten, your fascia, that connective tissue that wraps around everything, pulls inward, but your bones don't shrink, so you've got soft tissue squeezing in from the outside and stagnant fluid pushing out from the inside. That's a pressure cooker inside your joint capsule. No wonder it hurts. Modern medicine actually confirms this. When barometric pressure drops and humidity rises, the pressure inside your joint changes, irritating nerve endings. Poor circulation means metabolic waste, like lactic acid and inflammatory chemicals, can't get cleared out. They just pile up. So the Western lab report says inflammation and fluid buildup. The bigger picture view sees cold, dampness, and stagnation. Both are describing the same thing, but one of them tells you why it started. There's a classic formula from a very old medical text, the Jin Gao Lu, that was designed exactly for this kind of severe joint pain. It's called Goji Shouyao Jimu Tang. It was used for swollen, deformed joints, pain so intense it felt like being bitten by a tiger. That formula warms the core, expels cold, and drains dampness. But today, we're not going to use the full herbal prescription because honestly, that's for treating active disease and herbs can be potent. Instead, we're going to take that same wisdom and apply it to food, something you can eat every day, gently, safely, deliciously. The soup I'm about to give you has a name that sounds like it means business: Eucommia, goji berry, and pork tailbone broth. This isn't just a random collection of ingredients. It's a carefully planned team, each member with a specific job, working together like a well-trained squad targeting the cold and damp in your joints. Let me introduce you to the first key player, the commander of this operation. Eucommia bark, also known as dujong. If you go to a reputable herb shop, don't just grab the first bag you see, take a piece and break it in half. If it's good quality, you'll see something amazing. Even though the bark breaks, there are dozens of fine, silvery, elastic threads that stretch between the two pieces like spider silk or like melted cheese on a pizza. You can pull them apart and those threads just keep stretching. Now, in traditional thinking, there's a concept called like treats like, what do those threads remind you of? Ligaments, tendons, fascia, the connective tissues that hold your bones together and wrap around your muscles. This is the stuff that keeps your joints stable. The ancient herbal classic, the Shen Nong Ban Kaojing, classifies Eucommia as a top-grade herb. That means it's considered safe to take over a long period of time. It strengthens you without harming you. It says Eucommia supplements the middle, boosts essence, firms the sinews and bones, and strengthens the will. And you know what? I've seen that connection. People with strong bones often have strong spirits and vice versa. It's all connected. But let's look at this through a modern lens. Eucommia contains compounds like chlorogenic acid, lignans, and a natural rubber-like substance called Eucommia gum. Scientists have found that it has a fascinating dual directional effect. It can help blood vessels relax or constrict as needed. More importantly for our joints, it supports the elasticity of ligaments and tendons. Here's a common scenario. You get an X-ray and the bone looks fine, but your knee still hurts. Why? Because the ligaments holding that bone in place, they've become loose, stretched out, maybe from years of cold exposure or overuse. Think of a bicycle chain that's gotten slack. Every time you pedal, it slips and clunks. The bones start rubbing together in ways they weren't designed for, and that's where the real wear and tear comes from. Eucommia helps tighten that slack chain. It gives your ligaments back their spring, their resilience, so they can wrap around your bones like that silvery thread, protecting them, holding them steady. It's considered a go-to remedy for low back pain and weak, achy knees. Now, the second key player, goji berries. Most people know goji berries from their trendy little packets or from that guy at the office who always has them floating in his water bottle. And yes, they're great for your eyes. That's true because they nourish the liver and the liver connects to the eyes in traditional medicine. But in this soup, they have a much bigger job. If Eucommia is the fire, the warmth that heats up your system, then goji berries are the cooling oil that keeps that fire from burning out of control. You can't just throw heat at a problem without adding moisture. You dry out your body. You'd get dry mouth, constipation, restless sleep, irritability. We call that scorching the pot. The real skill is balance. When you add warmth, you also add nourishment. That's where goji shines. Goji berries are packed with polysaccharides, amino acids, vitamins, things that support your immune system and, importantly, help your body produce joint fluid. If Eucommia is the engine that powers your joints, goji is the high-quality synthetic oil that keeps everything gliding smoothly. It's the yin to Eucommia's yang together. They keep your internal furnace burning at just the right temperature, steady and gentle. Now, the third ingredient, and this one is really clever, pork tailbone. A lot of home cooks will grab a big leg bone or pork neck bones because they look meaty or have lots of marrow. But for this particular purpose, supporting your joints, I want you to specifically use the tailbone section, the part that connects the tail to the spine. Why? There's a reason. Think about your own spine. right down the middle of your back, runs your body's main energy channel, the one that governs all your yang or active warming energy. Your spinal column is the physical highway for that energy. The very bottom of that highway, the tailbone, is where that energy originates and starts its upward journey. Using pork tailbone is a way to guide the beneficial properties of the soup right into that channel. Without a guide, the goodness from the Eucommia and Goji might just go to your belly or your hands, but the tailbone acts like a GPS. It directs those nutrients right into your spine, and from there out to every joint and bone in your body. And from a nutritional standpoint, pork tailbone is fantastic. Pigs use their tails constantly, wagging, swishing, so that area has a lot of dense, active tissue. It's rich in natural collagen and gelatin, the very building blocks your joints need to repair themselves. And the best part, it's much less greasy than thigh bones or knuckles, so it's gentle on older digestive systems, easy to absorb, easy to tolerate. Now, the fourth and final ingredient, and this one is absolutely critical. If you only use the first three, you're getting a B minus to get an A plus, especially if you live in a humid climate. You absolutely need Job's tears, also called koi seed or pearl barley. Why is this so important? Because if your body is full of that cold, sticky, stagnant fluid we talked about earlier, and you just pour in nutrients and warmth, you're basically dumping cement into a mud puddle. Instead of fixing the road, you're making a thicker, gloppier mess. That's how people end up feeling worse when they try to tonify: more swelling, more heat, more irritation. Job's tears is your body's sump pump and garbage disposal. It's gentle, slightly cooling, and it specializes in draining excess moisture and clearing out metabolic waste. It flushes out that old, murky fluid from your joints, clears the drainage channels, and opens the pathways. Once the road is clear, the Eucommia and tailbone nutrients can actually get in where they're needed. This is the principle of clear first, then build. You don't build a new house on a swamp. You drain the swamp first, so now you understand the team. Let's get into the actual cooking. Because the details really matter here, a lot of people try making this, and they complain it tastes gamey, or the herbs are too strong, or it doesn't seem to work. 9 times out of 10, it's because they skipped a step or rushed the process. Let me walk you through it step by step. Step 1, selection and preparation. Go to your local butcher or meat counter and ask for about half a pound to a pound of pork tailbone sections already cut up. Think about how many people you're serving when you get it home. Here's the first crucial step: soak the bones in cold water for at least 30 minutes. This draws out the residual blood. Then bring a large pot of water to a rolling boil, drop the bones in, and blanch them. You'll see all kinds of scum and impurities rise to the surface. Boil until the bones turn completely white and no pink remains. Drain them and rinse thoroughly with warm water. Do not skip this. From a modern science perspective, that bloody residue contains purines and metabolic waste. That's what causes that unpleasant gamey flavor, and it can even contribute to inflammation. When you wash it away, your broth will be crystal clear, pure, and delicious. While the bones are soaking, get your herbs ready. Go to a reputable herb shop or online source and get about 10 to 15 grams of Eucommia bark. Get a small handful of Goji berries, about 20 to 30 grams, and take about 30 grams of Job's tears. Now, Job's tears is quite hard, so soak it separately in water for an hour or two before cooking, or it won't soften properly. Step 2, the right pot and the right heat. This is important. Use a ceramic or clay pot like a traditional sand pot or a heavy ceramic Dutch oven. Do not use aluminum, cast iron, or reactive metal pots. Why? Because the active compounds in the herbs can react with metals, turning your soup murky and reducing its effectiveness. A good ceramic pot holds heat evenly and slowly draws out the goodness from the ingredients. Put your clean tailbones, the Eucommia bark, and the soak Job's tears into the pot. Add water about 3 to 4 times the volume of your ingredients. And here's another golden rule: add all the water at once. Do not add cold water halfway through. If you're simmering away and you pour in cold water, the proteins contract. The herb cell walls close up and all those precious nutrients get locked inside. You're sabotaging your own soup. Step 3, the magic of time. Now bring the pot to a rolling boil over high heat. Skim off any final foam that rises to the top, then immediately reduce the heat to the lowest possible flame. Cover and let it gently simmer, and I mean gently, just a few lazy bubbles breaking the surface. How long? At least 90 minutes. We're not making instant noodles in traditional thinking. We want the thick flavor, the deep, nourishing essence, and that only comes with time during that long, Slow simmer, the collagen in the bones breaks down into easy to absorb gelatin and amino acids. The beneficial compounds in the Eucommia bark are slowly extracted into the liquid. The job's tears softens and releases its starches. You'll know it's ready when the soup turns a beautiful milky white or a deep amber color and the whole house fills with a warm, savory herbal aroma, not medicinal or bitter, just comforting. Step 4, the final touch. Here's another detail that people mess up. Do not put the goji berries in at the beginning. If you cook them for 90 minutes, they turn sour and the delicate vitamins and polysaccharides break down. Instead, add them in the last 5 minutes of cooking. Just drop them in, give them a quick simmer, and they'll plump up into those beautiful bright red jewels, sweet and tender. Finally, turn off the heat, season with just a tiny pinch of salt. That's it. No bouillon cubes, no MSG, no sugar. We want the pure, unadulterated flavor of the ingredients. Those artificial flavor enhancers just add extra work for your kidneys. The natural taste, a deep, woodsy, slightly sweet, completely satisfying flavor is more than enough. Now, when you serve this soup, don't just gulp it down. Take a moment, bring the bowl up to your face and inhale that distinctive, earthy, peaceful aroma. That's the Eucommia. It's not a harsh, bitter medicine smell. It's deep, grounding, like standing in a forest after a rain. Sip it slowly while it's hot. You'll feel a stream of warmth travel down your throat, settle in your stomach, and then spread outward into your belly, your lower back, your limbs. It's not a spicy, aggressive heat like chili peppers. It's a gentle, lasting, deep warmth like the sun coming out on a winter day. By the time you finish a bowl, you might even feel a light sheen of sweat on your forehead. That's a great sign. It means your core warmth is pushing the cold out to the surface, like melting frost. Here's what I recommend during the colder months, especially on rainy, gray, bone-chilling days. Don't go out for a heavy, greasy hot pot that just adds more dampness to your system. Instead, stay home and make this soup once or twice a week. Serve it as the main dish for dinner, with the meat and the job's tears and the plump goji berries all together. Eat everything. Sip every drop. If you stick with this for a month, 4 weeks, consistent, here are the changes I expect you'll notice. First, your hands and feet won't be ice cold anymore. Before, you might have gone to bed with freezing toes and needed a hot water bottle to fall asleep. Now, your circulation is better, warmth is reaching your extremities. Second, that horrible morning stiffness, it will be significantly better. Instead of lying in bed for 20 minutes, tapping your joints, you'll roll over, put your feet on the floor, and stand up without that painful hunched over shuffle. Why? Because the excess fluid has been drained by the job's tears, the ligaments have been tightened by the Eucommia, and the warmth has improved your joint fluid's quality. It's like switching from thick frozen molasses to high-grade synthetic oil in a rusty engine. Third, here's a bonus you might not expect: fewer trips to the bathroom at night. If you're over 60 and waking up 3 or 4 times to pee, you know how much that disrupts your sleep. That's often a sign that your core energy isn't holding things together as well as it should. When we strengthen that deeper system, your body can retain fluids better so you sleep through the night. And when you sleep better, everything gets better. Your mood, your energy, your pain tolerance. Fourth, your overall energy will shift. Instead of feeling heavy, sluggish, and unmotivated, the classic humidity drag, you'll feel lighter. Your step will be more springy. You'll actually want to move, not just sit and ache. You see, taking care of your health doesn't have to be complicated. The hardest part isn't the recipe, it's changing how you think. We've gotten so arrogant in modern life. We think air conditioning and central heating let us ignore the seasons. We think a pill can erase the consequences of how we treat our bodies. But your body doesn't lie. When you get sick, it's not bad luck. It's your body telling you that you've been fighting nature instead of working with it. If you just mask the pain with ibuprofen, silencing the alarm, you're like a driver who tapes over the check engine light because it's annoying. The light is off, you're not stressed anymore. But the engine is still knocking. Eventually, it seizes. And that's exactly what joint replacement surgery is, a last resort. It's not the first answer. It's the emergency backup when everything else has failed. So why wait until the car breaks down on the highway? Why not change the oil, clean the filters, and give it a proper tune-up while it's still running? This soup is your joint's premium maintenance service. It's rooted in centuries of observation, and it's backed by what we understand about nutrition, inflammation, and circulation today. Honestly, it's more effective and more satisfying than those expensive bottles of imported collagen or glucosamine that cost you a week's grocery bill, because this is alive, it's real food, and it works with your body's own healing power. Now, I hope you're not just nodding along saying, yeah, that makes sense, and then scrolling away to watch cat videos. Knowledge without action is just entertainment. Here's my challenge: as soon as this video ends, not tomorrow, not next week, go write a reminder, stick it on your fridge. Next time you're at the market, pick up some fresh tailbones, visit a trusted herb shop, and grab a small bag of Eucommia and Goji and Job's tears. This won't cost you much. Honestly, maybe less than your usual Starbucks order, and what you get in return is a warmer winter, a more mobile body, and the ability to enjoy the things you love: walking in the park, playing with your grandkids, just moving through life without pain. And don't just do it for yourself. Think about your aging parents. Think about that look on their face when the weather turns nasty, that grimace they try to hide. Think about how they used to love going out, but now they sit at home because their legs won't cooperate. Real care, real love isn't about buying expensive supplements they don't understand and won't use. Real love is walking into their kitchen on a cold, rainy evening, rolling up your sleeves, and spending an hour making this soup from scratch, watching them take that first sip, seeing the color come back to their cheeks, watching their shoulders relax and their face break into a smile as they say, "This is wonderful. This really warms me up inside." That's what taking care of each other looks like. That's what true wellness is. That's one of the best feelings in the world. I think that's enough for today. I hope this gives you a practical, doable, and delicious way to take control of your joint health. Drop a comment below and let me know. Are you going to try this? What's your biggest struggle with joint pain? I read as many as I can. And of course, please remember, this is for educational purposes only. Always consult your own doctor before making changes, especially if you have existing conditions or take medications. What works for one person may not be right for another. If you're dealing with any health concerns, please schedule a visit with your primary care doctor. I'm here to help you understand the science, not replace professional medical advice. So take care of yourselves, be kind to your bodies, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care now. Bye for now.